What's going on, guys? Oh my, Godzilla back here with a very exciting Godzilla figure review, guys. Today from Super7, we are taking a look at their New York Comic-Con exclusive Heat Ray Godzilla. Guys, without further ado, let's jump right in. Oh my god! Jumping back in time a moment to when this figure was in its box. Obviously, we have Heat Ray Godzilla 1989 here. Really cool logo and colors and pattern, and this is actually texturized on the packaging. Super7 on the top, it just says the Ultimates logo. Checking out the side, nothing. Back, it just says Godzilla vs. Biollante. Same thing with the side there. Bottom of the packaging is going to be just kind of your general generics. We remove the lid to find our Godzilla in the packaging. Very similar to what we had with our other Godzilla. We kind of have our hands, the Godzilla, and then obviously we have our Godzilla in there with the atomic breath. Super7, the regular Godzilla came with a closed mouth and an open mouth, so this one just comes with an open mouth and an atomic breath mouth. So there he is inside the packaging. Let's jump back and review the figure. Also, very quickly, before we jump into the figure, this is the back of the packaging with the sleeve off. Really cool. You can pause and take a look at that if you'd like. Alrighty, guys, so we're back here with our Toho Ultimates Heat Ray Godzilla from Super7. This is going to basically be an exact re-release with some effects of their 89 Goji, the Bio Goji. So, very similar figure. So, we're not going to talk about too much along the lines of how, you know, some of the detail and whatnot. We'll touch on everything, but we won't touch on everything because I've essentially already reviewed 85% of this figure. But a quick rundown on detail, guys. It looks pretty solid. Feet look great. Detail all the way. The toe claws are painted very well. Kind of have a couple different colors. You can see the tip's a little different colored than the base of the toe claw there. Good detail movement up the leg. We do have a decent thigh gap. Pretty large tail gap here. If the tail, you know, if he's kind of leaning back on the tail, it's not as bad. But if that tail kind of sags back, you can definitely see some tail gapping. Definitely good detail. Good chest cavity detail there. Arm detail looks solid. The hand claws are painted very well. Definitely like those a lot. Arms are a little awkward in terms of their articulation and their pose sometimes, but that's okay. The face looks pretty good. Mine did come with this little blemish on the top of his head, on the Heat Ray head, unfortunately, so that's kind of disappointing. Spines look great. I love the colors they did on these back spines. I wish they had just done it on all of them. And of course, they pulled the Bandai special and quit about halfway down the tail. Actually, even less than halfway, probably. Bandai, at least, would probably give us to here. So that was disappointing to see. But it was also nice to see the colored spines because when I ordered this figure, I actually didn't even know that the spines were going to be colored. I also didn't know that the figure with these pieces were glow in the dark. We'll take a look at that later on. I did not know they were glow in the dark. I didn't pay much attention. I just saw New York Comic Con exclusive was up for grabs on Super7's website, so I pulled the trigger almost immediately. Guys, in terms of articulation, I'm going to kind of turn his head away a little bit so we can work with the body a little bit better. The foot here is going to do some bending, a little bit of pointing and flexing. Very little, actually. The foot will also rotate on that joint. The knee is going to get some sideways bend and also bend back. And a little bit, his figure is very stiff articulation, so either he's very not articulate. Okay, he goes a little bit deeper, but you got to really work those joints. I think this is one of those figures. This guy, again, fresh out of the box. I haven't worked the joints much. I think if you work the joints, you'll get better articulation of him. But the torso, I appreciate the fact that that is very easy to go 360 on. Something I just reviewed, one of the Haya toys. He had like this much articulation on the torso. I definitely wish we could have gotten better torso articulation out of the Haya. So that's good to see. A little bit of shoulder on the in and out. Easy 360 on that shoulder joint. Elbow, gonna be bend at the 90 really well. And he also has kind of a mid bicep articulation. So very posable on the arms. The hands do get full rotation and a little bit of bend on this joint. I don't want to push them too much, but I think they can go further than that. Yeah, there they go. So you get some decent bend out of the hands. Neck's going to be an easy, pretty good, you can get about there on this bottom neck joint. The head is just on a ball joint. You can get 360 and some up and down a little bit. I'm not going to mess with it too much because originally he came with the standard head on his body. Pop that off. This was probably the most difficult joint I've ever had to put on a Godzilla figure. So if you guys pick this figure up, let me know if this head was a total nightmare to get on. Took a ton of time, took a ton of pressure, and a ton of like side to side. Total nightmare. I don't know why, but it was very brutal. So that obviously will take a little bit of work, but I'm not going to really mess with that this top head articulation. It just pops off right there at the joint, and that's how it's going to be. Tail articulation, guys. The tail obviously does come separate in the box. Pops off there. But you're going to be able to get pretty good articulation out of it That's about as straight as it'll go. It does get pretty good bend up. And if you hold it kind of here, the side to side, he's very noisy. The side to side is okay. You can get decent L bend. I personally just like sitting this guy's tail kind of up, posing him like that. I think that looks the best to me. Guys, this figure did come, like the other Godzilla, with multiple sets of hands. So he's kind of got the middle half open hands. So those are nice. He's got kind of the hands that remind me of the SH Monster Arts hands that the 2021 Godzilla came with, the kind of angry hands. And he's got balled up fists. So I'll swap those out kind of as I see fit, but I'll probably just keep these hands on for this review. I don't really need to be playing with the hands too much. So again, guys, this figure, a re-release of the initial Super 7 figure, just with the glow-in-the-dark spines, comes with the atomic breath piece, and that's about it. Here is our regular Godzilla that we got in the beginning. So in terms of comparisons, not much to say. He's very identical. Paint colors look very much the same. Really, I think the only difference we're going to get on this guy is the fact that those spines are blue about halfway down, and he comes with the atomic breath piece. He also does not come with the tentacle-penetrated hand. I can't even remember if that came with Godzilla or Biollante at this point. I think it came with Godzilla, but he does not come with that hand with the tentacle hole in it. So there's that. But not much to say in terms of this comparison, guys, just because he is almost the exact same figure. Obviously, you could swap a hand and give him that tentacle hand off that other set. Let's go ahead and compare him to Biollante, just to show that sizing. So obviously, I wish Biollante was a little bit bigger, but it's nice we can actually get Godzilla shooting with the atomic breath. You could have Biollante, you know, giving him the stab with one, you know, through a hand. You could definitely kind of engage them in a little bit better of a battle scenario now. Pretty fun. I'm definitely glad that they did this figure. I'm torn though, because I almost wish that they'd given us like a $20 expansion pack instead of a whole new $85 figure. This was another $85 just basically to get the same figure with the atomic and the spines. So I wish they'd done like a $20 expansion pack of sorts and maybe just given us a head with an atomic breath piece. The spines are a nice touch, but I mean, is it worth paying an extra $85 to get the same figure? I would probably be hard-pressed to say yes, honestly. If you had passed on this figure and maybe just picked up the Biollante, now would be a good time to pull the trigger on this figure, because I don't think he's not, you know, $85, like I said in the other review, $85 is a very steep price point for these guys, but I think they're close to worth it. I think if you think you like the figure, you'll probably like the figure. So if you pass on the original Godzilla, this would be a decent one to pull the trigger on, but buying this one after already having the other one, it's definitely kind of a toss-up in terms of if it's worth it, because at this point I've spent, you know, $170, and I have these two figures to show for it, plus the extra $85 I spent on the initial Biollante. So, you know, if you think this figure looks like he's worth it, you're probably right. You'll probably like him. I'll show you the glow-in-the-dark here at the end. He's a cool figure, but like I said, it's hard to justify buying both of these guys, I would think. Comparing this guy to a couple other figures, just for height and whatnot, this is the reissued Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla from Hiya Toys. I just did a review on that. Check that out if you're interested. Obviously, the Super 7 Ultimates are about in the 8-inch scale. The Hiyas are about in the 7. But I just wanted to show you that size. NECA Biogoji. There's your sizing. Again, Biogoji for NECA was kind of in the 6 to 7-inch height range. So obviously, this guy's going to be a lot bigger. But there's that height. Even smaller is going to be SH Monster Arts. Those guys are definitely in about in a 6-inch scale. So very much shorter than our Toho Ultimate. And just to show you guys, here's a movie monster series. This is the 2021 Godzilla 1991. Obviously, again, going to be in that 6-inch height range versus kind of more of an 8-inch figure here. Guys, let's take a look at that glow-in-the-dark feature. Here we go in 3, 2. So a great glow. Super 7 always does a great job on their glow-in-the-dark aspects of their figures. I think everything looks, the atomic breath looks really great. I love how clean that green is. It looks great. You can kind of make out some of the detail in the face, the teeth and stuff. The spines look great. I just wish the glow-in-the-dark went all the way down the tip of this tail. That is very unfortunate. I really think they could have done that, and especially charging $85 for a figure that we have all effectively already had, minus the glow-in-the-dark feature. how much harder is it to give us the glow-in-the-dark up the rest of that tail, guys? I think they should have done that for sure. But that said, I think this glow-in-the-dark looks really good. This figure is very fun. If you think based on this video you'll like the figure, you probably will. So I'd recommend getting it. And I would definitely recommend getting it ASAP because this is a Super 7 New York Comic Con exclusive. They posted it live on their website. But I think they basically just take the stock that's left over from the con, they put it on their website, whatever sells, or, you know, when it's gone, it's gone. So if you think you want this figure, pull the trigger now, guys. I think, I'm definitely glad I got it. The glow-in-the-dark's cool. I love the fact that we finally have an atomic breath effect on a Super 7. Granted, the original Super 7 should have just come with an atomic breath effect, but, you know, it is what it is. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you in the next one.